becoming an advocate of the student.
As teachers, it is our job to be an advocate of young people entrusted to our care. Studies show that no learning will take place in the classroom if there is an adversarial relationship between the teacher and the student. Dr. William Glasser, a leading figure in the field of education, says in his book, The Quality School, that the first condition of quality schoolwork is a nurturing relationship between the teacher and the student. Students will work hard for a teacher that they believe cares for them. The result is the creation of a cooperative learning environment that is essential to a child's intellectual, academic, and social development. Brain research explains why a nurturing classroom environment is such a critical element in the learning process. Dr. Paul MacLean, head of the Brain Evolution and Behavior Department of the National Institute of Mental Health, has done some fascinating work on the triune brain theory. Dr. MacLean's research shows that the human brain evolves in three very distinct stages when a child is in the embryo. First, the brainstem, then the limbic system, and finally, the neocortex. According to Dr. MacLean, the brain looks like this. The brainstem governs the body's involuntary functions, such as the heartbeat and breathing and body temperature. On top of the brainstem is perched the limbic system. The limbic system is our emotional brain. Our feelings, like love and lust and hope and fear, originate here. The neocortex looks like a shower cap covering the limbic system. The neocortex is the thinking brain. It governs our rational thought process that allows us to reason and to process language and math concepts. Teachers must get through to this portion of the student's brain in order for learning to take place. However, if a student feels threatened by an adversarial relationship between himself and his teacher, bad things happen. When the neocortex perceives a threat, it ceases to function properly and it downshifts to the limbic system. In other words, the thinking brain gives itself up to the emotional brain, and all of a sudden, instead of dealing with a rational child, the teacher is confronted by an emotional kid who is disrupting the classroom. The brain's downshifting is usually triggered by fear. Fear of failure, fear of disapproval, fear of being ridiculed, fear over grades. The importance of all this is that when the brain downshifts out of the neocortex, a kid loses his capacity to learn. Effective teachers try as best they can to eliminate threat and fear in the classroom by developing nurturing, trusting relationships with their students. If the student feels like a teacher is an advocate and cares about them, they won't feel threatened even when the teacher has to correct them for the mistakes they've made. The brain research underlies the critical importance of a nurturing classroom environment in allowing children's brains to function at optimal capacity. And the research results are confirmed on an everyday basis by the experiences of caring teachers who create that sort of learning environment. They are the teachers who enjoy the greatest success in the classroom. A Houston area middle school principal talks about such a teacher. Last year, I had a new teacher come to work at her school as an 8th grade reading teacher, working with regular classes. I loved going into her classroom. You could not see any wall space in her room. Virtually every square inch was covered by her children's papers, things that they were proud of and wanted to be seen. She used music and storytelling in her classes. And whenever a student was feeling down or depressed, she would invite that child to stand up and to receive an ovation from the rest of the class. She really loved and cared for her students. She affirmed them and acted as their advocate, and it made a tremendous difference in their lives. At the end of the school year, her students had a much better pass-fail ratio than students in other 8th grade regular reading classes. Her students also posted much higher TAKS scores. She did such a wonderful job that the other teachers voted her Teacher of the Year for our school. Her intentional efforts to love and affirm her students paid huge dividends in ensuring their success. A key strategy for encouraging student success is the creation of a nurturing classroom environment that is devoid of fear and threat. Establishing loving, caring relationships with kids is not simply a nice thing for a teacher to do, it's an absolute imperative in order for learning to occur. Here are some things to remember in becoming an advocate of the student. The first condition of quality schoolwork is a caring relationship between the teacher and the student. Caring relationships are created through a nurturing classroom environment. The brain research shows why unconditional love is such an important element of quality education. Students learn best in an environment that is devoid of threat and fear.